your early team news ahead of Sunday, please?
Yes, we have lost Peter Cech at West Brom. He will not be fit for Sunday. And apart from that, of course, Cazorla, Perez as well is not fit. That should be basically it.
What's the issue with Lucas?
Thigh problem.
And Petr Cech, is there any sort of time scale on when he could be back?
I think he could miss on Sunday, Wednesday against West Ham, and may be available again after.
Of course, Alexis came off against West Brom. He's played twice for Chile since. Looks to have got through that okay. Have you spoken to him at all since?
No, we got a message from him. It was a kick, you know. The only thing it was swollen. The only thing we didn't know was it the ligament touched or not, and it was just a kick when the swelling went down and bone bruising out. He could normally play.
You mentioned Santi Cazorla there. Is there any update on him at all, or does he just remain?
Unfortunately, no. I think the season is over for him.
Of course, Manchester City on Sunday. It's a big opportunity, isn't it, to get back on track against a direct rival?
Yes, we come out of a difficult period and we play at home in a very big game, so it's a good opportunity for us to bounce back. I think it's two teams who, when you look at the numbers, have the best numbers in the final third of the league, and so that promises to be a very positive attacking game. Both teams will attack, they go for it, we go for it, so it should be a promising game.
Thank you.
Morning, Arsene. First of all, before the international break, you said that you'd made a decision on your future and the rest of us would find out soon. So is today the day that you...
I didn't say the second part of your sentence, I said the first part of your sentence I accept.
I believe in your press conference the decision was that we would find out soon.
Yes, not today, but I'm very clear in my mind. But anyway, do I stay 2 months or 2 years? My commitment will be exactly the same, so the time I spent here that does not influence at all my attitude.
So we're still in suspense then, suggestions that there could be an announcement perhaps after the match?
I've always been very clear in my mind, you know, and I will remain like that, but I think it's a subject that at the moment is not sorted completely out.
It's not sort of completely so in a negotiation or waiting to see how the season...
No, I have nothing more to add to that.
Can we talk about Alexis Sanchez's future then?
Yeah.
Because he's given an interview in Chile. What he's said is that he's happy in London, wants to finish his contract, that's what he wants. He likes to stay in one place, one city, where the team fights for titles. A lot of people putting their own interpretations on that. How do you interpret what he said?
In a very positive way. There's only one team in London, so he's happy.
Well, other interpretations have suggested...
Yes, of course, I understand that. I have not a lot to add. I think personally he's happy here. It's true that we have not extended his contract yet. I hope that he will stay at the club, but overall, I think you have as well to be very cautious when people give interviews in their home countries, you know, because as you said, the interpretation is not always exactly what they wanted to say. But I don't see anything negative in that. He said he wants to win the championship. That's what everybody wants, and I can understand that completely.
The interviewer said that by staying in London, he could also be perhaps going to Chelsea. Now, Arsenal fans have seen some of their top players go to rival clubs before. Does it almost force Arsenal?
That is true that it happened before when we were in positions where we had to sell financially our best players, and that's not the case anymore.
But it could be a possibility if his contract runs out and nothing has been negotiated or sorted out in the meantime.
Look, he has 1.5 years contract, you know, so I don't think that it is an immediate concern for Arsenal Football Club.
I think you said in an interview during the international break that talks with Alexis and with Mesut Ozil are put on hold until the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Is that at their request, or have they decided they want to see how the season pans out before they enter into...
No, I think once you go in the final 2 or 3 months of the season, everybody's more focused on the end of the season, and you give yourself more time in a more relaxed atmosphere maybe between the two seasons. You know, we are not out of contract at the end of the season. I personally believe that both of them want to stay, and I hope that the club will find an agreement with them.
In terms of Mesut Ozil, hasn't featured that much when he's come off the bench. Is he in contention this weekend to start again?
He is, yes. He's in contention to start again. He played 20 minutes with Germany in Azerbaijan, and he came back focused and worked very hard this week.
He said he's been unfairly singled out as a scapegoat for Arsenal's disappointing results. Is that a fair assessment from you?
You know, it's a price to pay when you're a big player, and sometimes you're unfairly treated, but I think sometimes you're unfairly treated in both ways as well, you know. When it goes well, maybe people go a little bit higher up for you than they should, and it doesn't go well, yes, you get more stick than you deserve.
Has this international break been good for you in the sense that disappointing results beforehand?
I know, you know, for me, it's only one thing that can be good for me is to win the next game. I didn't play a game in the international break, so it was maybe good for the players after a very disappointing performance at West Brom to get to a different atmosphere with their national teams and have an opportunity to refresh a little bit, because it was a very disappointing for us moment at West Brom. And it's a very difficult period at the moment because we do not get the results that we want. But for me, not a lot changed.
In terms of the results that you've had, in terms of where you find yourself in the league and the fact you're playing a revival, just how much significance do you place on this fixture against Manchester City this week?
Every game, you know, we have 2 games in hand, and the games are coming up thick and fast. And our season now will now be decided by the next 2 months. And but as well, by the way, the ability and the strength we can show together to fight and come back in a very convincing way. And we had a deficit at West Brom on that front, and so I think the most important will be our future will be decided by our mental qualities.
Arsene, you said you're very clear in your mind, but that it's not.
Yes, I would not like to answer that debate again. You know,
it was just
but enough press conferences about that, and I think that's not at the moment the most important subject at the club.
It was just one question on whether you think the delay in announcing anything is causing instability among the club and.
No, I believe the priority in life is always to focus on what is important and not to look for excuses. At the moment, our results are not going the way we want, but as well we have to make sure that the priority for us is to what's happened on the pitch, and being professional is to perform on the football pitch and not to find escape excuses where I think they are not.
Pep Guardiola said the treatment of you by former players and journalists has been unacceptable and disrespectful. Would you agree with that?
I don't judge. It's a nice statement, but you know, I'm not in judgment. I'm not a judge. I'm somebody who loves competition, who loves to perform, and who loves to football and focus on what is important for me. And for the rest, everybody is responsible for his own behavior. I'm responsible for mine. When I'm wrong, I stand up for it. But I do not want to judge people. I want to focus on what matters to me, but is competition, and win and use all my energy to win the next game.
Just finally from me, do you remain convinced that this current team and squad are capable of winning the major trophies like the Champions League or Premier League, or does it need major improvements in the summer?
Look, it's a strange season because we played 20 games unbeaten. If you look at our offensive numbers, they are very good. But as well, we cannot, I cannot sit here and say we have no flaws in our and no weaknesses in our team, because we have. No, the results are there, and I think there's a very, very strong basis. But we need the team needs to be strengthened, of course.
Arsene, how much difference does it make to you when some of your own players, like Alex Iwobi, are calling you a great man and saying the criticism is unfair? Does that make any difference to the decision?
No, I want. It's very nice, but I want the players to focus on their job, you know, and their job is to perform, and me to help them to perform and help them to develop as players, and that's. For me, what matters really. I think intelligence in life is to focus on what is important, and that's why I believe what is important for a football player: perform on a football pitch, and give absolutely everything to help the club and the team to perform. And especially in difficult periods, you need to see the difference of quality between people, with those who can focus on what really matters, and what really matters for us at the moment is to stick together and show that we care about our end of season, about this club, and about our values that we stand up for.
But do you know when you're going to make that decision? Are we talking about days, weeks, months?
I spoke a lot about that, and for me it's exactly the same. I have to focus on what is important.
Can I ask you finally about video assistant refereeing, which they're thinking about bringing in next season?
Yes.
What's your take on that? Is something you
Look, I watched a game against Spain, and I moved up after the game, and I thought, we are really stupid. Why did that not happen 15 years ago? And that shows just that the football world is still a regressive world that is scared to move forward, and I believe that that should have happened a long time ago. Personally, I always was in favor of it, and I said always that the first thing to deal is with the offsides, and the game has shown. And if you just look at there are many impacts on that, because in the game it shows, first of all, that you would have gone to completely different conclusions if you had not video, because France would have won the game. Secondly, that I believe as well it will of course create more justice, and the second coincidence, by coincidence, the two incidents were in favor of the home team, you know, and the third thing, I think it will definitely cut out all the interference and desire to corrupt referees that exists in the world, you know, and this kind of video will be a very good plan to fight against that as well.
Arsene, you've already mentioned Manchester City and yourselves that have been most attacking in the final third. Another thing is that both sides have also had the most goals from substitutes. So how important do you think substitutes? So how important do you think is your whole squad selection going to be this weekend?
Well, of course, I believe that when I say to you to be on board, we had the highest number of goals scored in the final from substitutes in the league. Recently, it has not so much worked for us on that front, but we have to find this quality back. It's explainable by the fact that I have, like Man City, top quality strikers on the bench usually, and that they have an impact when they come on.
In terms of Manchester City coming into this tie, it's not been plain sailing for Pep Guardiola either. City went out of the Champions League, they've also had a couple of draws.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, in terms of criticism, he's got off a little lighter?
Well, I don't know, you know, the local context at Manchester, I don't know what's being said and written over there. But I personally respect him hugely as a manager, and I think he has done an exceptional career, and that it's a bit normal as well. That's a bit his first season. Once he will be for 20 years at Man City, don't worry, we'll get the same treatment.
Finally from me, you've already touched on the magnitude of the month of April, especially with rearranged games as well. Just how big is this month for both you and the players?
It's for us, I think it's not only, as you said, the period that is of course matters, because it's a decisive period, but as well for what is at stake for us is how do we respond mentally to a disappointing period, and how much can we focus and stick together now.
Arsene, you've had time to analyse the West Brom defeat.
Mm-hmm.
The television pundits in particular were extremely critical of your players after the game, almost implying that they gave up. Is that how you saw it?
No, it was a kind of game that you can get in England. I agree that we had a blind possession, or we had 70% possession going nowhere, and with the possession we had not enough goal chances. We had 2 shots on goal. That when you have 70% of the ball, that's not good enough, and we were caught where West Brom is strong, and where usually we are quite good at defending set pieces. Is it down to the fact that the players went for important international games, had their mind already not completely, were we underestimating West Brom? It's difficult to say, but I agree with you that something was missing there.
Has this been a period of sort of soul searching for you in the last 2 weeks?
Sorry?
It's been a period of soul searching for you for the last 2 weeks.
Last 2 weeks is a period for me where I focus on the next game, and prepare for the next game.
I know you've talked a lot about your future. You've made it.
No, you force me. You force me to talk about it. I don't talk a lot about my future.
Arsene, you've made it pretty clear that you want to stay here. What are you waiting?
Look, I have nothing more to say.
But what are you waiting for? What needs to happen?
You want to force me to talk about something I don't want to talk about. So.
Could you at least tell me what needs to happen for you to start talking about it? What needs to change?
Not a lot. You just continue to ask the same question. One day I will answer.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Arsene. Thanks, Mark.